Okay, hey everybody, this is Mr. Hague. How you doing? It is October the 6th, 2024. All right, so dropping out of high school, huh? You thinking about it? And that's the topic of today, the idea of having enough of high school or just so tired of high school that you just want to leave. Well, you're not alone. I mean, a lot of students I know, they want to just leave, but they also realize that there are risks involved. And of course, me as a high school teacher, one of the things that I find myself doing often is when I face a student who are contemplating that is to try to convince them not to. I mean, the risks outweigh the rewards in a very big way. Well, today we're going to try a little twist. I'm going to discuss how to drop out of high school, how to do it the right way, as if there is a right way, but actually there is a right way, and there's obviously the normal way, I guess, if there's a normalcy for dropping out of high school, but there is a better way, a right way of dropping out, and it involves a lot of thought, a lot of, again, risk. Let's look at this. Okay, 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the United States alone. And being the hiring manager for my media company that I used to work for, when I see, and I've had a few applicants that tell me they didn't finish high school, and because they're going, they're having some issues or they just didn't want it. I'm going to be very honest with you. I pull the brakes a little bit. I want to hear them out more, but that is a big concern. It's a big red flag for me because I like to have people who finish something that they have, okay, that they started. Okay, so in other words, I want to be able to hire somebody that I can trust that can, not give up. Okay, and of course, as the years went by, I've learned that it's really dangerous because I have met high school dropouts and they turned out okay, not great, but okay. We're going to discuss that as well. But I think the most important thing as a society is that we can't assume that high school dropouts are losers. We should not. That's kind of dangerous and also belittling. It doesn't help the person because a lot of them drop out because they're being belittled. Okay, there could be a enormous amount of reasons why they're dropping out that we're just simply not aware of. I mean, they may be carrying a life burden that is just too heavy for a student to carry at the time. And here's some of the reasons why they may drop out. Okay, well, one of the reasons, of course, is if they're being bullied. Who wants to go to work? Who wants to go anywhere if they're facing bullying? Okay, they're being picked on, they're being harassed, they're not having a good time. Why would I force myself just because the law says so? Why would I force myself to go to an environment, where I'm going to be punched or kicked or made fun of or whatever the case may be? That's just not a good situation to be in. Another reason is, of course, economic reasons. Okay, I mean, your family's poor. You've got a tight situation. You got to go to work. You got to help support your family, and that's actually kind of admirable. Okay, that's a really good reason. Okay. If you're having problems, if your mom needs medical attention and there's no one to take care of, and you can't afford nursing care, of course that's a very good reason and an admirable reason. But still, it comes at a great price for the student. Another reason, which really is not a good reason in my book, is school is just frustrating. I mean, you're behind work, it's too difficult. To me, that's not a good reason because you can always find help. At least you should be able to find help. And teen pregnancy, family turmoil, or there's a death in the family. What if a tragedy struck where both parents died? And now you're stuck having to take care of your little siblings or your cousins it's extremely difficult. So we have to have a better understanding. Socioeconomic reasons, okay, like poverty, okay, and overall bad school environment. Okay, there's a lot of high schools out there that just don't cut it. They don't provide a very decent environment. And don't forget, we got a gun culture here. We got a severe gun culture, and it's bad. And the politicians are not doing anything about it. And that's another show, but I'm just saying that we have a very, very dangerous culture here where guns are carried into campus and who knows what happens, okay? And, well, I'll say it. Maybe the school is one big, giant drug house. Yeah. It exists, folks. It happens, okay? The drug culture, the gun culture, they're everywhere. Who on earth can blame anyone for not wanting to enter an environment like that? And, of course, there's also mental and physical reasons why a student wants to drop out. They may have an illness, okay? They may be addicted to drugs or, well, they might be in a coma. Who knows? But regardless, okay, the facts are the facts, okay? The facts are very, very clear. The statistics are clear. The data is clear. Students, you got to understand, if you do drop out, your situation won't improve. In the long term, it's a bad idea. If you don't have a plan. Long term, it is a bad idea. Okay, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that unemployment rate for high school dropouts is almost 50% higher than those who graduate. 50%. Okay, so you don't want to find yourself in the unemployment line, and trust me, I have stood in the unemployment line, and it's belittling, it's degrading, it's embarrassing, okay, because I did that after I earned a master's degree. I have a master's degree, and, I found myself one day at the unemployment line, and it was very, very hard for me to take. But, of course, high school dropouts are known to earn lower salaries, okay, because employers demand at least a high school diploma. They want to see it. Even the military demands it. That's right. You cannot join any branch of the military, not the Army, not the Navy, not the Marines, okay, not the Coast Guard, none of it. None of them will accept you if you don't have a high school degree. And another tough statistic is that you are 80% more likely to go to jail than those who do have a degree. More likely. Dropouts usually make about $600 a week, okay, whereas non-dropouts make $800 a week. Okay, so you're going to earn less. Okay, you gave a good reason why your employer should pay you less money. Okay, why? I mean, they don't. Of course, they're not going to give you a big salary because obviously you're not complete. How do we know you're going to stick with us? You didn't stick with high school. How do we know you're going to stick with this company? And believe me, companies right now, because of the labor shortage and because of the lack of skilled workforce, they're not going to invest in somebody who didn't, finish high school. And most likely you're not going to get a job that require a lot of skill. And again, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm trying to make you see the facts, because the facts are the facts, okay? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's survey of high school dropouts indicates that it gets so bad for high school dropouts that 70% of them choose to come back and finish high school, okay, or wish they could, but go back and finish high school, or at least get their GED. Now, that says a lot. Okay, now the good news is between the year 2012 and 2022, the National Center for Educational Statistics show that the dropout rate in the United States between 16 to 24 years actually declined. Okay, but let's look at who drops out. And of course, as usual, we have a diversity of high school dropouts. It seems like the highest dropout are the Native Americans, with 12.8 to anywhere 10% average dropout. Latinos anywhere from let me see if I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, it looks like almost 10% of them drop out. If you're Latino, blacks about 9 to 6%. Caucasian or white from around 5%, 5 to 4%, and of course Asians anywhere between 2 to about 2%. All right, so it's a huge risk. You don't want to drop out. I've had many 5-year seniors, 5th-year seniors, they call it the super senior, and I don't know exactly what they mean by a super senior. There's nothing super about coming back to high school for a 5th year, but I've had people do that. Again, we don't want to judge. We don't want to judge them because we don't know what they're going through. We don't know where they've been. And we don't know if they have a learning disability or if they have some sort of life situation. So it's best not to judge. And as a high school teacher, I need to understand that, and I must help them. Okay, this is what you got to do. A lot of times, I will tell the students it may be the best option to simply just drop out and go to some sort of adult center, or maybe go to a community college that offers a GED. Okay, or maybe courses that are equivalent to GED. You got to ask around. You want to be able to, if high school is just not your thing, if school is not your thing, again, no one is blaming you. I understand. I don't blame you some of the times. Okay, you may not like to sit in a classroom and listen to some teacher lecture about things that you can care less about. I understand that. But you also have to understand the statistics. The stats point out that it is a bigger risk to drop out than not. You most likely, like I said, 70% will finish high school or go back and get your GED. But the GED costs money. It costs money. It's not free. I mean, and also it's not easy. Taking the GED doesn't mean you're going to automatically pass. It's a challenging test. So let's face it, it's easier if you just suck it up and finish high school. That's really where it's at. It's not that hard. They want you to graduate. You want to graduate. You may never see each other again. Hey, look, just graduate and just get out and then don't look back. That's it. Move on with your life. All right, so, Mr. Hague, where's the part where you're going to tell me the right way of dropping out? Okay, well, let's look at some of the celebrities, okay, and some of the big hotshots in this world in American history that have dropped out and became successful. All right, well, here's some of the celebrities that dropped out of high school. Cameron Diaz, Robert Downey Jr., Christine Applegate, Jennifer Lawrence, Marlon Brando, The Godfather, Drew Barrymore. Can you believe that? Okay. Oh, this was a surprise. Whoopi Goldberg dropped out of high school. Kate Winslet from Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio. So you had two big stars in the Titanic that sunk on their high school careers. They both dropped out. Johnny Depp, Mark Wahlberg, Tom Cruise, Patrick Dempsey. How about that? So John Travolta dropped out. So, oh my goodness, I guess all I have to do is become a star. And then dropping out of high school, yeah, well, that's good. Well, not so fast, folks. Okay, first of all, by the way, there's countless numbers of celebrities that did drop out. I mean, musicians also. Lady Gaga, I believe Jay-Z. Let's see, who else? I also think Cyndi Lauper dropped out. A lot of those musicians, those rock and roll dudes, they dropped out. And look at this, Hilary Swank's crazy. So Harry Styles, okay, a lot of these musicians and singers, they dropped out. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, okay? For these people, for these names that I just mentioned, and I'm not done mentioning names because I'm going to go into the business people. These people had a destination. They didn't drop out because they hated high school. They dropped out because they had something coming up. They had something lined up that actually going to school would get in the way. They're about to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay, what's more important? Those millions are learning how to do algebra. I mean, think about it. But they had it lined up. They had a destination to go to that they saw as better than high school. And those situations exist if you find them. If you're the type of person that want to drop out of high school because you want to get more sleep, you're screwed. You're just screwed. All right, let's look at some of the business people that kind of dropped out. David Karp, you probably don't know who he is, but he dropped out of, he's a mega billionaire. But before we go, why? let's talk about David. He dropped out of the Bronx Science High School at the age of 15. And his original plans were to continue homeschooling, which, by the way, is an alternative, and work on other side projects. However, he never got his high school diploma. He ended up building a short form of blogging and social networking platform known as Tumblr. Haha. Tumblr became a sensation. Millions of people worldwide joined Tumblr. And eventually he sold it to Yahoo for $1.1 billion. That's billion dollars. Sir Richard Branson, of course, you guys should know him. He is the entrepreneur that found Virgin Atlantic Records and the airlines and a whole slew of things. He dropped out to start a magazine. And by the age of 20, he founded a mail-ordered record company and expanded it to become Virgin Records. And, of course, we know that he's now into the space business. He built a rocket ship and went into space. And, well, what can I say? The man never ceases to amaze me. But he's kind of a freak in nature in many ways, because not only did he not get a high school diploma, but he also stuck with the same woman for almost 4 or 5 decades. They had children together, but they never got married. What's the point of getting married? They thought they will probably be there, for the rest of their lives. So they have, I'll tell you, his life is pretty darn good. He knows what he's doing. There's a gentleman by the name of Charles Linder who dropped out of high school. Now, of course, I don't expect Gen Z to know who Charles Linder is, but he borrowed some money to start an ice cream shop. And he created a business empire and invested heavily to build his estimated $1.7 billion after dropping out. He founded the American Dairy Farmers Association, which you see a lot of ice cream, milk products, dairy products that serves the whole world. Walt Disney, I know that every generation knows who this dude is, the founder and inventor and artist behind Mickey Mouse. Well, he dropped out of high school when he was only 16. And it was only after the third short film of Mickey Mouse did he become a success. So Henry Ford, the man who invented the assembly line and inspired the creation of the Ford Motor Company, he left school. He probably never intended school, from what I understand. So as you can see, these people quit high school because they had something better. They had that gut feeling within them that this is a better life. I don't think they'll knock not going to high school. Oh, another person is Simon Cowell. Okay, the founder of America's Got Talent, all these these amazing talent shows that you see. Okay, it's American Idol is another one that he invented. He also dropped out. Okay, but I'll tell you this right now. I bet you that these celebrities will probably tell their kids not to drop out, because these names that I mentioned are exceptions to the rule. So if you're going to drop out, you got to have a plan. You got to have a business. If you drop out because you're so frustrated in school, in other words, if you don't have a plan, stay in school. Okay? If you, the only reason why you hate school because you're tired of losing or you're tired of just not fitting in. Okay, you know what? The world is bigger than high school. If you think high school is representative of a life, you're mistaken. It is not. I wish sometimes it were. It is not. So if you're going to be depressed or if you're going to not like life, okay, because of what high school did to you, what are you going to do when you get to the real world? It's more demanding. It's more time consuming. It's more energy draining. Okay, you got to get ready for that. And if you can convince yourself, well, I would definitely, like I said, I can stay in school. But here's what you do, okay? Here, you need to dive into something, okay? Start a business, okay? And let the business progress, okay? My advice is to start a business and then grow the business throughout high school. Maybe not join a club, maybe not do sports, and just go ahead and build a business. A lot of entrepreneurs built business in college. Okay, of course, college dropout is more understandable than high school. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard because he invented Facebook. Michael Dell dropped out because he had Dell computers, okay, a new method of selling computers. So a lot of people, even Steve Jobs, okay, dropped out because he had something to fall back on, Apple computers. He saw that as infinitely more important than getting a degree from Reed College in Oregon. And he was right. So you want to start a business. Number one, start a business and make sure it's thriving and make sure it's making money before you quit school. Another thing is, well, have a promising job. Those actors, those entrepreneurs that I mentioned, okay, they all had promising jobs. And by the way, speaking of those entrepreneurs, the time that they quit, okay, and I'm talking like Henry Ford and Walt Disney, okay, this happened to them during the 30s or the 20s, okay? I'm talking early on where labor was more important than the brain at that point, okay? We needed farmers, we needed builders, we needed contractors, we needed people with hands-on. And so these guys saw a demand and tried to meet it, okay? So it's a big different a world now, a huge difference world. Here now we got AI, we got internet, we've got Wi-Fi, we got the handheld devices, which to me is a curse. But we've got so much opportunity that requires thinkers and people who are able to comprehend, okay, what's happening here. Even our cars are so AI driven. So this is a piece of the pie that you're going to really miss out on. Anyway, so start a business or have a promising job. And here's the thing. Most states, you can't quit high school until you turned 18. Now, of course, you could quit high school at the ages of 16 and 17 with the permission from your parents. And believe it or not, there are some parents who will be like, yeah, go ahead. Well, look what it did to me, I quit high school and look at this. Okay, now I got to go work somewhere and I get dirty and, I'm working the grind, blah, blah, blah. No, okay? You need to, if it's okay to take a break, okay? Finish, if you want to quit school, then you better think about it. You better immediately plan to get a GED, okay? And again, I said a GED is quite a challenging test, and it's expensive. It's about $120 to try. So if you fail the first time, and there are people who fail. If you fail the first time, well, guess what? The second time will be another $120. It's cheaper to stay in high school. Okay, so obviously the Army is out, but you can try your way in construction work or manufacturing work, maybe even transportation. You can, handle baggage and luggage. You can do some office support like mailroom clerk, things of that nature. Hospitalities, you can be a server, you can be a dishwasher, or you can be a busboy or whatever they call it these days. You can do all those jobs, okay? But ultimately, you're going to one day realize that I'm not making as much money as my counterparts, as those that I graduated. You should also talk to your high school about alternative plans. Maybe you can take online classes or maybe independent study where you don't have to go into school, that you just read a book and, and then do reports and report to your teacher. That mainly is for those who pretty much are afraid to go to school, like people who get bullied or people who I know this was prevalent during the COVID days when everybody stayed in school, but some people remained in school for a year even after that. And we were okay with that because they are afraid for their lives with this virus. Okay, so they just didn't come back. So anyways, bottom line is it's a lot easier if you just finish high school. You may struggle through it, you may crawl through it, you may just trudge through it, but hey, it's worth it. It's much more worth it to get the high school diploma than to have to deal with the drudgery of life if you don't. Because if you don't, okay, you're taking a huge risk. And I'm saying that taking a risk will result in failure, but I'm just saying that taking a risk, it could very much fail. 70% of those who drop out go back to get their high school diploma or they get the GED. But anyways, please stay in school. If you're having problems, talk to your counselor, talk to your teachers, talk to somebody. Don't just belly up and say, I had enough. Okay, that's not what the world wants. Okay, and that's not what you want. I'm sure that's not where you want to find yourself. Okay, let's take a look at some of the statistics, and I'm surprised I didn't. Okay, so if we look up here, the states. Let's go with the states. The states with the lowest graduation rate. You would think I'm going to say Mississippi. You would think I'm going to say Louisiana. No, it's California. That's right. It's California, baby. Once we were actually we were pretty high. But again, what is the reason behind it? It might be because there's a large immigrant situation we have over here. I've had a lot of students who are immigrants, and they had to leave for whatever reason. They went back home, or they went back to their country, whether it's Mexico or El Salvador or wherever they decide to go, and so it's pretty amazing. So if you're in California, hang in there. Okay. Same thing with Texas. Texas is right behind California. So these are two industrial states with the highest population of high school graduates, dropouts. Right? The largest amount of dropouts. So. Okay, so the number one graduation rate, where 94% of the students graduate, is Montana. Good job, Montana. Alaska comes in a close second, followed by Maine, Minnesota, and of course New Hampshire. New England states are so amazing. Alrighty, but yeah, stay in school, please. Don't do anything rash. Talk to somebody, or email me at mrhagesclass@gmail.com. And I'm hoping you make the right decision that's best for you. This is Mr. Hague's Class. See you next time.